Oh, I don't know, Cosette. I think being a piggy is kind of challenging. Oh, hello, boys and girls. You just caught Cosette and I practicing our best piggy noises. Can you make piggy noises? Or I don't know. Those are kind of hard to do, and they make my throat a little sore after a while. I might have to get myself some water after practicing my pig noises. In case you're wondering, we are practicing pig noises because today's story might have to do with some piggies. They might be in a puddle, squishy, squashy in that puddle. What do you think? Would you like to go and check it out with us and see what this piggy stuff is all about? Being a pig is a lot of work, and it's kind of fun. Anyways, what do you say? We should say the magic words, Cosette, and be on our way for another enchanted journey? I think so too. Let's rub our hands together and say, I wish to go on an enchanted journey, and away we go! Welcome, boys and girls. Are you ready for another story? Today I have The Piggy in the Puddle by Charlotte Pomerantz. And the pictures are by James Marshall. In an earlier program, I read some stories by James Marshall. George and Martha? Not sure if you remember those, but those are some of my favorites. Let's check out The Piggy in the Puddle. See the piggy, see the puddle, see the muddy little puddle, see the piggy in the middle of the muddy little puddle, see her dawdle, see her diddle, in the muddy, muddy middle. See her waddle, plump and little, in the very merry middle. See her daddy, fuddy-duddy, fuddy-duddy, fuddy-duddy. Don't you get all muddy, 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 muddy. You are much too plump and little to be in the muddy middle. Mud is squishy, mud is squashy, mud is oh so squishy, squashy. What you need is lots of soap. But the piggy answered, squishy, squashy, squishy, squashy. Nope. See her mommy, fiddle-faddle, fiddle-faddle, fiddle-faddle. Get out of there, skedaddle, daddle-daddle, daddle-daddle. You are much too plump and little to be in the muddy middle. Mud is mushy, mud is squooshy. Mud is oh so mushy, squooshy. What you need is lots of soap. But the piggy answered, mushy, squishy, mushy, squooshy. Nope. See her brother, silly Billy, silly Billy, silly Billy. Do not waddle willy-nilly, willy-nilly, willy-nilly. You are much too plump and little to be in the muddy middle. Mud is oofy, mud is poofy, mud is oh so oofy poofy. What you need is lots of soap. But the piggy answered, oofy poofy, oofy poofy. Nope. Now they all stood in a huddle right beside the muddy puddle, and they looked into the puddle. What a muddy, muddy muddle. There was a piggy, plump and little, in the very merry middle. She was waddling, she was paddling, she was diving way down dairy. She was wiggling, she was giggling, she was very, very merry. Said the mother, little piggy, you have made me very mad. Said the father, little piggy, you have made me very sad. Little Peggy, said the brother, you are very, very bad. Said the piggy, squishy, squashy, mushy, squooshy, very bad. Dear, oh dear, said Piggy's mother. What's a mother pig to do? She thought and thought and thought and thought, and then of course she knew. She said, I bet my feet get wet, and jumped in too. See two piggies in the puddle, in the muddy little puddle. See the piggy and her mommy in the muddy little puddle. Me, oh my, said Piggy's father. What's a father pig to do? He thought and thought and thought and thought. And then, of course, he knew. He said, I bet my tail gets wet, and jumped in too. See three piggies in the puddle, in the muddy little puddle. See Mommy, Daddy, Piggy in the muddy little puddle. Boo-hoo-hoo, cried Piggy's brother. Whatever shall I do? He thought, but not for very long, because, of course, he knew. He held his nose and yelled, Here goes! And jumped in too. See 4 piggies in the puddle, in the muddy little puddle. See the piggies in the middle of the muddy little puddle. See them diddle, big and little, in the very merry middle. Said the daddy, mud is squishy, mud is oh so squishy squashy. Said the mommy, mud is mushy, mud is oh so mushy squishy. Said the brother, mud is oofy, mud is so oofy poofy. Said the piggy, squishy squashy, moosey squishy, oofy poofy indeed, said little piggy. I think we need some soap. But the other piggies answered, oofy poofy nope. So they all dove way down dairy and were very, very merry. The end. And what did you think of the piggy in the puddle? I thought it was a lot of fun that she convinced her whole family to jump into that mud puddle with her and have a good time. Do you ever play outside in the mud? Maybe after it rains, you put on some rain boots and go squishy, squashy, mooshy, gooshy through the mud puddles? I like to do that too. I wonder what we can come up with for an activity today involving ooshy, squishy, squishy, squashy things. Do you think Jenny the Genie has an idea for you? You bet I do. Are you ready to go and check it out with me now? Okay, let's go. I hope you enjoyed the piggy in the puddle. And now it's time to make our own mushy, ooshy, sticky, gooshy, wishy-washy slime. I hope that you will enjoy this. So to make our very own slime, we only need a few simple ingredients. First, you're going to need a bowl. You're going to need something to stir your slime solution with. I've got this Spider-Man spatula. You're going to need 8 ounces of Elmer's glue. I have 4-ounce bottles, so I do have 2 of those. You're going to need some baking soda, about a tablespoon of baking soda. And you're also going to need 1.5 to 2 tablespoons of saline solution as a slime activator. If you don't have saline solution, you might actually have slime activator that you can use. And then food coloring is optional if you want to make your slime a pretty color, which I do. So step 1 is we're going to add 8 ounces of white Elmer's glue to our bowl. So you can just take those lids right off your glue and squeeze it right into the bowl. Step 2, you can add food coloring if desired. I'm going to try and make my slime, I think, a purple color. So I'm going to use a little bit of blue and a little bit of red and mix them together until I get a color that I like. I'm just going to put just a couple drops of blue to start. A couple drops of red. And again, this step is optional. You don't have to use food coloring. And you certainly don't have to use the same colors as Jenny the Genie, unless you happen to like those. We'll just see what we get. Ooh, I've started red and blue like Spider-Man, like my spatula here. Just keep stirring. Let's make kind of a milky pink color, so I think I'm going to add a little more blue. Some more drops of the blue. Oops. Let's see what we get now. Now it's kind of a purpley, lavendery purple color, I guess. I'm going to add a little more red. darken it up a bit. You can just have fun with your food colors until you get a color slime that you're going to be happy with. It's just a fun extra step, not necessary to enjoy slime, certainly, but fun. All right, that's kind of a pretty lilac purple color. I'm happy with that, so I'm going to stop adding food coloring. Just make sure it's all mixed well together. So that was step 1 and step 2. Next, we're going to mix in our baking soda. This is step 3. We're going to use a tablespoon of baking soda. It just so happens I have Piggies for tablespoons. That kind of goes with our story, doesn't it? And put a tablespoon of baking soda in, and now I'm going to mix that all around. It's going to start to thicken up our glue. For step 4, we're going to add a half a tablespoon of saline solution at a time, because the more you add, the thicker it's going to be. So you get to kind of choose how thick you want yours to be. So we'll just start with half, and then add some more. Oop, squirting all over the place here. What is saline solution, you might be wondering? A lot of people use this to clean their contacts lenses. Do you wear contacts lenses or glasses? All right, so I'm just going to pour that in. It's just a clear liquid. It kind of looks like water. And then we're just going to stir it around. And this is going to work like a slime activator, and it's going to start making our slime pretty sticky. Look at that. If you want yours to be thicker, you can continue to add a little bit of saline solution, but I think that is pretty thick, so I'm pretty happy with that. Now the best part of making your own slime, sticking your hands in there and playing with it. Ooh, okay, that is a little gloopier than I thought it was gonna be. It looked thick to my eyes. I think I'm gonna rinse my fingers and add a little more saline solution, make it a little bit thicker. Did you see my kitties jumping in on the table that I'm working on as my craft table? They like to join me for Jenny the Genie craft time. You might have seen them in other programs. They're very curious about what I'm up to. Okay, when it gets to a certain thickness, it's easier to work with your hands than with a spatula. Oh, there we go. That's pretty good. That's pretty gooey, but not too sticky. I can peel it off my fingers now. That's good. My hands aren't getting stuck with my slime. So I'm going to recommend to you boys and girls you use 1 tablespoon of saline solution if you have it. If not, if you have slime activator, that works great too. The good thing about saline solution is you can find that pretty much any grocery store, which makes making slime super easy and hopefully super fun. I hope you enjoyed this project with me. Now this is just one sample of slime. You could make some more. You could make different colors. You could have a lot of fun with this. And it's just fun and satisfying to squish it in your fingers, isn't it? I sure think so. Now to store this, you can put this in a bag and cover it up so that it doesn't lose its stickiness. And I recommend playing with this on like a placemat or a paper plate so it doesn't stick to like furniture or clothes. This is a pretty good consistency, so it's not going to really stick to those things, but it can. So you always want to ask an adult where you're allowed to play with your slime. And I recommend definitely a table surface or a napkin, placemat, paper plate, something to protect your furniture and clothes. All right, I think that's it for today's craft. You ready to go back to the magic lamp and say goodbye to Cosette with me? All right, let's go. Welcome back to the magic lamp, boys and girls. Did you enjoy the story of the piggy in the puddle? Do you think that real pigs enjoy squishy, squashy, ooshy gooshy in the puddles as much as this pig family did? I think that they might. Maybe they don't wear fancy human clothes or sing and dance and talk about the puddle, but I've definitely seen pigs squishing around in there and getting cool and rolling around and just taking it easy in the puddles. I don't know if I'd like to go in a muddy puddle. What about you, Cosette? I think the closest thing they have for people like us, maybe kitties too, they have like a spa where you can go and have like a mud bath, and it's supposed to be really good for your skin. I've never tried that. Have you? Well, playing in puddles is fun anyway. And I enjoyed making our very own slime today. I hope you enjoyed that too. That's something you can do again and again, and you can make different colors, and you can do that squishy, squashy, mushy, gooshy stuff with it, just like the story of the piggy in the puddle. I hope you had a great time with us today. I know I sure did. And I'm excited for you to come back and see Cosette and me in our lamp again really soon. But until you do, take really good care of yourself, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.